Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamilitan Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tata Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravajantam Manupeta Apeta Krityam Dvapayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tan Maitaya Tadavo Binedus Tam Savabhutam Hridayam Unimanatosmi Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatam Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Abhaktya Vihina Parada Lakshai Kiptashtakamadi Tarangamadye Kripa Mai Tvam Charanam Prapanna Brinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Tave Vasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Radhe Tvam Nayanam Charanandike Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So we begin by offering our most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of our beloved Gurus, unto Sri Guru Pada Padma Nityalita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Padasta, Tarasat Sri Srimad Abhaya Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and unto Sri Guru Pada Padma Nityalita Bhavishta, Om Vishnu Pad Asta, Tarasat Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Raj, under our exalted Upanagura Varga, of the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. So we're going to continue hearing pastimes about Advaita Acharya. We heard about him meeting Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri, so many pastimes there. Now this part is Advaita Test Mahaprabhu. And I looked ahead, there's many, many pages in pastimes. So let's hear. Advaita Acharya, Srivas Pandit, and the other devotees were overjoyed to see the mood of extreme eagerness coming out of separation from Sri Krishna, and the transcendental ecstatic feelings in Gauranga Mahaprabhu after his return from Gaya. You can read it in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Quite extraordinary, the transformation and the reaction of the devotees. In due course, Nityananda Prabhu arrived in Navadvip after having toured the sacred pilgrimage sites, and there he met Nimai. One day, at Srivasa's house, Mahaprabhu indicated that he wanted to perform the Vyasa Puja to Nityananda Prabhu. On the eve of this puja, Mahaprabhu showed everyone that Nityananda Prabhu was Baladev. And then, repeating the words Nara, Nara, revealed that Advaita Prabhu had caused him to descend to the earth by calling him. Right, the meeting of Nityananda Mahaprabhu, incredible story, and then this pastime, this Vyasa Puja. Let's hear what he says. Then he quotes Chaitanya Bhagavat, Mahaprabhu speaking, "It is due to Advaita Acharya that I have descended, for Nara's roars rang in my ears. I was lying in the milk ocean, but Nara's roar woke me up and brought me down here." That's from Madhyakanda. After the Vyasa Puja had come to an end, Mahaprabhu took on the mood of the Supreme Lord and sent Ramai Pandit, Srivas Pandit's brother, to fetch Advaita Prabhu from his house in Shantipur. He told him of the Lord's divine manifestation. Quote, Advaita Prabhu has brought Hari, the Lord of Golok, to this earth by his cries and by worshipping him with Ganga water and Tulsi. Nityananda Prabhu has also made his auspicious arrival in Navadvip. So Advaita Acharya and his wife should immediately come to Srivas Angan, bringing all the paraphernalia for worship. Ramai Pandit promptly carried out Mahaprabhu's order and took his message to Advaita Prabhu. And as soon as Advaita heard that Mahaprabhu had publicly revealed his divinity, he and Sita Devi immediately set off, bringing their son Achyutananda and some other associates. But rather than going directly to Srivasa's house, Advaita decided to test Mahaprabhu by hiding in Nandana Acharya's house, the same house that Nityananda Prabhu had been resting or hiding in on his arrival, and no one could find him until Mahaprabhu directed them, which is interesting because we know that without the mercy of Nityananda and representing Guru, no one can approach or have understanding of Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu also showed that without his mercy, we won't be able to connect with a bona fide guru either. They're interdependent mercies, right? They work together. So he's hiding there in Nandanacharya's house. He told Ramai Pandit not to tell Mahaprabhu, but the Lord, who knows the heart of all, was able to see through Advaita Acharya's plan. As Mahaprabhu sat on the altar and revealed to everyone his divine identity, Nityananda held the royal parasol, umbrella, right? While Gadadhar Pandit and the other devotees engaged in a variety of services. This time, when Mahaprabhu sent Ramai to Nandana Acharya's house to fetch Advaita Acharya realized that Mahaprabhu was omniscient and hesitated no longer. Advaita Acharya, now that was either because he wants to show by example, and so that set up that pastime, or it can even be the influence of Yogamaya to enhance the sweetness of these Audarya Leela. So, Advaita Acharya joyfully prostrated himself before the Lord, stunned by the sight of the Lord's divine power. Because now, Mahaprabhu is no longer hiding behind his identity as a scholar or his identity as a devotee. I won't say only a devotee because he's the greatest of devotees. He's Radha and Krishna combined. He's completely in the mood of Srimati Radhika. But to add to that, his identity and mood as Bhagavan, overwhelming to everyone, fully manifesting his own glory before them all. Those who had been praying and praying that the Lord come. Advaita praying, and now there he is. He washed the Lord's lotus feet and then worshipped him with the 5 ingredients, the Panchopachara, using the following mantra to do so. Oh, this beautiful mantra. Is this Queen Kunti that sang this? Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagatidhaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahmanas, the well-wisher of the cows and the Brahmanas, and the benefactor of the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisance to the personality of Godhead, known as Krishna and Govinda. When I first joined and we did Harinam, we used to sing this on the streets. So many of the prayers of Queen Kunti we just sang out loud as part of our Nam Sankirtan. And we'd sing, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. I'd be racing up and down Fifth Avenue, the lower streets of Manhattan, all over, singing that song. Yeah. I remember one devotee in particular, this one lady. She was young. Her name was Varanasi. She was like one of the Sankirtan leaders. At that time, we had ladies doing that. And she could sing for hours, right, racing up and down. It was amazing. But that was one of her specialties. So Mahaprabhu then commanded Advaita Prabhu to dance. Advaita Acharya started to dance madly until he was completely intoxicated in a way that astonished all the devotees. Krishnadas Kaviraj has written, quote, there is one Mahaprabhu, or Supreme Lord, and 2 other Prabhus, or masters. The two other Prabhus serve the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. These three personalities belong to the category of the all-worshipable. The fourth category is the devotee, who is the worshipper. Srivas and the millions of other devotees belong to the category of the pure devotees. Gadadhar Pandit and others are considered to be avatars of the Lord's energies, or Shaktis. They are counted as his most intimate devotees. This is from the 7th chapter of Adi Lila. Okay, so that's how we understand the study of the Panchatattva. Very important, because there the Lord manifests in all of his features. Himself, his direct expansions, his personal energy, the expansions of his personal energy, her Kaya Vyuha, and others, all the liberated souls in Vrindavan, eternally liberated, Nityasiddha, and then devotees, jivas, liberated jivas. So, Panchatattva, the fivefold aspect of divinity, includes Gauranga Mahaprabhu, who accepted the form of a devotee, Nityananda Prabhu, who is the manifestation of a devotee, and Advaita Acharya, the Lord's avatar as a devotee. These three are considered to be Prabhu Tattva, or Vishnu Tattva, the ontological category of Godhead. Advaita Acharya is an avatar of Mahavishnu, so belongs to the category of Vishnu Tattva. But because he took on the mood of a devotee, he is called Bhakta Avatar, the Lord's avatar of a devotee. Because Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya all belong to the category of Vishnu Tattva, tulsi leaves are offered to their feet. Without Advaita Acharya's mercy, one can never attain the service of Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhus. Again, something very important, the interrelationship and ultimately understanding that relationship and recognizing our dependence on all of them. You can't overlook Advaita Acharya, just neglect him. He is the cause for the Lord's descent. Without him, Mahaprabhu would not have come. Mahaprabhu would not come, Nityananda would not have come. So we are dependent on Advaita Acharya. Narottam Das Thakur sings, "Be merciful, Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita. On the strength of your mercy, I will attain Chaitanya and Nitai. Dayakaro Sitapati, Advaita Gosai," right? Advaita Acharya's glories and his activities have been extensively described in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat, Narahari Chakravarti's Bhakti Ratnakara, and in Advaita Vilas and other books. Those who wish to have a deeper knowledge of his life should consult these books. We could only give an abbreviated biography in this book, and such an extensive account cannot be given here. We have only set out to remember the main pastimes of Sri Advaita, which is what we are doing. We're stimulating the seeds that have been planted in our heart, nurturing and watering them. We've read these pastimes, we've heard some of them from the lips of our gurus, and we are wanting these things to grow in our heart. We're very fortunate sitting in front of Radha and Krishna, Srimati Lalita and Vishaka, and Sri Rupa and Rati Manjaris, our Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, praying for their mercy, that this understanding and this kind of love grow in our hearts. So now, Sri Bhakti Vallabha Acharya is going to Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha. He's going to describe Advaita and Haridasa Thakur. By his deeds, Advaita Prabhu revealed that a Vaishnava is worthy of praise and worship regardless of his family background. Namacharya Haridasa Thakur was born in a Muslim family in Burhan village in the district of Jessore. Later, he came to live in the village of Pulia and was staying in a grotto engaged in solitary devotional practices, but would sometimes come to associate with the Advaita Prabhu in nearby Shantipur. This was after he had spent time preaching the glories of the holy name at the Chandpur house of Raghunath Das Goswami's father and uncle, Govardhan and Hiranya Majumadara. Right, he used to visit that house, and Raghunath Das was an object of Haridasa Thakur's affection, and would take the very young boy on his lap and teach him to chant the holy names. Advaita used to invite Haridasa Thakur to come to his house in Shantipur to take prasad. This made Haridasa Thakur feel somewhat uneasy because he was so humble, right? Thinking of his low birth and the strictures of the society at that time. How, not worrying for himself, thinking, how will they perhaps condemn or insult Advaitacharya by his association with me? However, Advaita Prabhu, the world teacher, claimed that his behavior conformed with all the scriptures. For to feed a great devotee like Haridasa Thakur is equal to feeding millions of brahmanas. In order to demonstrate this, he honored Haridasa Thakur by giving him the plate offered in the Shraddha ceremony. On the annual date set aside for offering oblations to the forefathers, householder Vaishnavas offer all kinds of foodstuffs to the Lord. They then invite Brahmanas and Vaishnavas to honor prasad. The Mahaprasad is given to the guest of honor, and Advaita Prabhu chose Haridasa Thakur for this special treatment, considering him to be a transcendental Brahmana guru. And then there's a quote from the Anchalila, 3rd chapter. Advaita said to Haridasa Thakur, "Please don't be afraid. I shall only do what is accepted in Scripture. If you accept this prasad, it is as though I had fed 10 million brahmanas." After saying these words, he gave him the Shraddha plate to eat. And there was a tremendous negative reaction by the other brahmanas in attendance, because he had invited many of the most respected brahmanas of Shantipur, educated, high class, very high level of behavior, but generally smartas, right? And so they felt completely insulted by Advaita doing this, and they stormed out of the house. You're offering to a Muslim? They could not understand Haridasa's actual position. But then, after they had left and were talking about it, they began to consider Advaitacharya is the most learned of everyone in Navadvip. No one can compare to him. His knowledge of the Shastra and his behavior always been impeccable. He's the leader of all. He would not do anything against the Scripture. We should reconsider. And they went back and they apologized and understood the situation by the mercy of Advaita. Great mercy. Right? And remember how we read earlier in the pastime of Jagai and Madhai, how Mahaprabhu himself had said, because they had become less than a Muslim, because they had been brahmanas and they performed the grossest sinful activities, which completely disqualified them. There may be Muslims who might be a little pious, right? But they were complete sinners. But once they'd become Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu said, whenever you feed them, whatever they take in their mouth, it is like you're feeding me. I am tasting it. I am tasting what is being served to my pure devotees. right? I am tasting through them. So this was Advaita's understanding of Haridasa Thakur. One of the branches of the Chaitanya tree is Haridasa Thakur, whose activities are amazing. This is a quote from Adi Leela, chapter 10. He would unfailingly chant 300,000 names of the Lord every day. I only give an indication here of his unlimited virtues. Advaita Acharya honored him by giving him the Shraddha plate. That's Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 10, verse 43 and 44. Now, a description of the sons of Advaita. Okay. Although 6 sons were born to Advaita Acharya, the avatar of Mahavishnu, he indicated that some of them had understood the essence of spiritual life and some had not. This is very interesting because this goes to show that birth alone does not qualify you. Even if you're the son of the Supreme Lord himself, you may not be qualified. Right? He indicated that some of them had understood the essence of spiritual life and some had not. Those who simply claimed to be his followers but showed no affection for Gauranga were the latter. Those who were attached to Mahaprabhu in ever-increasing affection were the former. These included Achyutananda, Sri Krishna Mishra, and Gopal Mishra, while Balaram, Swarup, and Jagadish belonged to the category of those who did not give recognition to Sri Chaitanya. Achyutananda was the oldest brother, and Sri Krishna Mishra and Gopal Mishra followed his lead. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 12, compares the two groups to wheat and chaff, right? There's the wheat kernel, and then there's the chaff, the useless husk, separated from the wheat, right? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also writes in his Gaudiya Bhasya, his commentary to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhyakanda, chapter 10, if someone takes Advaita Acharya to be the best of all the Vaishnavas, then he can be called a Vaishnava. On the other hand, if someone considers him to be the object of all religious life, the Vishaya Krishna, and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be his devotee, or Ashraya, then he will never be able to attain Krishna's lotus feet. We read that. Remember when we were reading that? There was extensive description of the tattva of Advaita Acharya, how he is Vishnu tattva, but he's subordinate Vishnu tattva to Mahaprabhu, to Krishna. He's like Mahavishnu, right? So Mahavishnu has a mood of worship towards Krishna. All the expansions and incarnations and avatars have that mood because they are expansions of Nityananda Prabhu, who is the source of that mood. Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, non-different. They have the mood of das towards Krishna. Baladev may have it mixed with brotherly affection and also with the mood of Vatsalya, but he considers himself to be a servant of Lord Chaitanya. And there are many pastimes to that effect. So, now this pastime, the Lord punishes Advaita Acharya. Remember how we discussed how Advaita Acharya was always upset that Mahaprabhu offered him respects as a senior, according to the appropriate maryad, but he always wanted to be treated like a servant. So, it is also said that Mahaprabhu taught Advaita Acharya the real meaning of the Bhagavad Gita. Here's a quote from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhyakanda, chapter 10. Vishrambar explained the true understanding of the Gita to Advaita Acharya, withdrawing the gates that conceal the nature of bhakti. In the pastime, there was one verse, or a few verses, that Advaita Acharya claimed he could not penetrate with the idea of bhakti, and then Mahaprabhu explained them, came to him, actually, in a dream and explained them to him. He was fasting. He said, I won't eat until I can determine the meaning of this verse. And Mahaprabhu came to him and said, wake up and eat. This is the meaning of the verse. So, another wonderful pastime was prepared by Advaita Acharya in order to show the fallen jivas how auspicious it is to receive punishment from the Lord, the Guru, or the Vaishnava. Auspicious, a wonderful thing. We run from that. It's our false ego makes us think, this, now everyone will criticize us, everyone will laugh at us, we're unworthy. But actually, it's the special favor of the Guru to chastise. It's an expression of love. That's the very first thing that Gurudev ever spoke to me directly. When I told him about how Srila Prabhupada chastised me, and I always, lamented about that. Because people told me, this proves that you're no good. You're not a real disciple. Prabhupada said this and that. And Gurudev said, no. He said that because he loves you. And he said it with such force and gentleness. It made me really understand and embrace that. We always hear that. There's two sides to the mercy of the Guru, the praise and the chastisement. And if you only get one, praise, you're only getting half of the Guru's mercy. But the real mercy comes in the form of chastisement, because there the deep-rooted anarthas are cut. And that's what we all need and require. So, he wanted to show the fallen jivas how auspicious it is to receive punishment from the Lord, the Guru, or the Vaishnava, and how ecstatic it made him feel. How fortunate is a devotee who is chastised by his Guru? This is described in the 17th chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, where Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has made the following comments in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. Quote, Advaita Acharya is the godbrother of Mahaprabhu's Guru Ishwar Puri. For this reason, Mahaprabhu treated Advaita Acharya as his elder and spiritual master, even though Advaita Acharya considered himself to be Mahaprabhu's servant. Advaita Acharya was pained to see Mahaprabhu treat him with such respect. And so, in order to seek out the merciful punishment of the Lord, he returned to Shantipur and began to explain the path of knowledge to a few unfortunate individuals. Path of knowledge means, ascending process, speculation, leading to, at best, Brahman realization. If it becomes tainted by Mayavad, then it's completely destructive. Either way, it's completely opposed. Brahmagyan can be the gateway to bhakti if you have good association and you're not envious. Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma Nasochatina Kanchati, right? What is it? Samak Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labate Param. That one attains that level of Brahman, he can become my bhakta. But you have to have good association and be favorably disposed to that association and to those teachings. Like Sannyasi Thakur in Jaiva Dharma, like the four Kumaras, like the example of Shukadev Goswami, although he was not a Brahmavadi, posed as one. But without that, it's completely misleading, right? So when the Lord caught wind of this, he became extremely angry and went to Shantipur to give him a good thrashing. When he was chastised in this way, because the Lord was beating him, he's beating him severely, Advaita Acharya danced in joy, saying, just see, my desires have been fulfilled today. Mahaprabhu was previously miserly with me, treating me as his respectful elder. Now he has acted toward me as though I were his servant or disciple by trying to save me from the heresy of Mayavad. Okay, so he was teaching not just Brahmavad, but tainted with Mayavad. This is why he became so enraged. When the Lord understood that this had all been a ruse on Advaita Acharya's part, he was embarrassed, but pleased with him. Because it's all Leela, very high Leela. Sita Thakurani, however, was very distressed. Do you want to kill this old man? Please stop beating him. And then Mahaprabhu regained his senses a little bit. Oh, what am I doing? This is my respectable senior. And when he was seeing Advaita dancing and being so happy, he could understand by his intelligence that this was all Advaita's trick to get him to chastise him. And he felt ashamed. The Lord treated Advaita with the respect deserved by a guru. This caused Advaita Acharya great distress. So he adopted a ruse of teaching the path of knowledge. He's quoting Chaitanya Charitamrita here. Mahaprabhu became angry and scorned Advaita Acharya, causing him great bliss. When he saw his satisfaction with the turn of events, meaning satisfaction of Advaita, the Lord became ashamed and was merciful to him. Yeah. And here's another verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, 12th chapter, Adi Lila. Previously, Mahaprabhu would honor me. This made me unhappy. So I thought that if I start giving lectures on the Yoga Vasishta, explaining mukti as the supreme goal of life, the Lord would become angry and insult me. Chapter 12. Yes, so there you are. There's more. We started a little late, for which I apologize. Like I said, we're dealing with this massive snow challenge, which has held us back a bit. So we're going to stop here because it's like 9 o'clock our time. We want to do our Guru Puja and doing our duties for the day. Maybe a little more plowing because we have to get to our wood, putting up insulation, and there's all kinds of things going on anyway. So I apologize, I have to stop here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Gurudev. All glories to, certainly to Advaita Acharya, to Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar Prabhu, and to Srivas Pandit, and all the eternal associates of Mahaprabhu, all that ever were, all that ever will be. Okay. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.